Okay. Anyway, thank you very much for doing this Zoom blog we're doing this morning, and we do have something in common. I just went through your Facebook,
Hmm.
and I noticed one thing is you're a friend of my brother-in-law,
Oh,
Darwin
well,
Price,
oh, the one in the Dumaguete.
Dumaguete. I was
Yeah.
surprised. I said, "That's what a small world."
I, I mean,
Darwin Price' wife is my sister.
I mean, goddamn, yes, I met her also. I think I met the both of them several times because he's into music with my friend, Carlos Cialcita.
Wow. Yeah. I
Hmm.
just learned how to play the guitar. I don't know
There
if
you
you noticed.
go.
I do have a guitar here,
All
and
right.
I every time I go to Dumaguete, I kind of jam with him.
Oh,
So we do
good, good.
jamming.
Yeah. Sige. How often do you go? Do you
Well, I've
see?
only been there. I I actually I'm retired, so I go back and forth. Philippines
Mm,
and Seattle.
like me? Yeah.
So I try to visit them as much as I can, or they come to Cebu and visit us because I live in Cebu.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple of relatives in Cebu, and I know some people there, but I don't stay long. I don't stay at all in Cebu because wala akong malapit na relative or kaibigan there. So I really don't
Okay.
have reason to go there and see. Some the my relatives are from Bantayan, then they went to Cebu
Oh,
City,
okay.
But I can't go to Bantayan because I have to make sure somebody's there. It's hard to I know it's a
Mhm.
big process, but I'd like to go there soon, within a year, to Bantayan, where my grandmother's people are from.
From
But
Batayan.
the rest
Okay.
of my people are Waray, Waray
Oh,
from
okay. So you're
Barugo,
from
Leyte.
Samar or
No,
Leyte?
Barugo, Leyte, the northeast Leyte.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, so you speak Waray then. That's your main.
Yes, yeah, that's my first language. I never forgot it. I never really
Mhm.
lost any fluency in Maray because we always spoke it at home, which is
Oh, okay.
what I'm grateful for with my parents. Of course, I didn't realize it then, but one of the things that I'm grateful for because I myself cannot do it with my children. They all
Mhm.
speak English. I cannot make them because our situation is different. Most of the time Filipinos here they marry someone who don't speak the same language, even if
Uh-huh.
they're both Filipinos nga, even if they're both Filipinos. One is Kapampangan, one is Ilocano, English ang labas nila. So
Exactly.
very challenging to keep our language here. And I couldn't do it, but
Yes,
my
yes.
parents did it. My parents did it.
Well, same thing with my kids. None of them
Mhm.
speak the language anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and they blame me for it. So
Of
Dad, how
course,
come you
they're
never taught
angry.
me? But I said,
Yes,
hey, son, when you were small, I tried to teach you, but you guys said, don't talk to us that way. And then now when they're big,
exactly,
they're blaming it on us.
exactly.
Yeah. But anyway, my first question to you is, tell me how old you are and now I know where you were born. You're from
Mhm,
Leyte, and
mhm.
because I know you're a Alaskero. I was also an Alaskero,
Oh,
but
good.
but
How many seasons did you go? Were
I
you able to
started
go?
77, 78, 79, 80, 80, 81, 82. My last one was 85.
Pretty good. About six
Yeah.
years, huh? Six or
And I
seven
went
years.
to different canneries. My first one was in Falls Pass in
Uh-huh. Larry, my friend
yeah,
Larry.
Peter Pan. And the second one was in Uganic Bay over in
My other
Cook
friend
Island.
was, yeah, my other friend's from there. Yes.
Yeah, and then I went to Naknek. I saw I look at your I was in South Naknek. I was with Red Salmon.
My goodness. Yes, yes. Because
1981 and
you're across the river from us. Yeah.
1982. Then
Oh
I
my
went to
goodness.
Alaska, that's harbor,
Yes, one of my
uh,
friends from that harbor. So when
yeah.
you went to South Naknek, I wrote some poems there on my bedroom in my bedroom. Pero I think they destroyed the bunkhouses.
Yeah. I've been to you were with Alaska Packers, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I have so many friends there because the union there is run
Mm-hmm.
by somebody from Cebu, Carlos
Mm-hmm.
de los Santos. I don't know if you know him.
No, but I was a representative of the union there after Larry Itliong. Larry Itliong, somebody else, and then me. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Carlos de los Santos was running and his kids, the de los Santos, they were all mestizos, and he
Mm-hmm.
went to that same cannery, and so I used to visit them. So
Oh, I'd like to talk to them. Yeah, one of these days. Yeah.
yeah, he's one of my good friend, David de los Santos. He's in Cebu now. He married somebody from Cebu, and
Oh,
and
good.
the
That's an
Philippines.
excuse for me to stay in Cebu longer. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll hook you up with him. He's a very good
Good.
guy. He's, and
Sige.
he
Oh,
grew
how
up.
nice.
He's with with the APA over in
Oh my
Leyte.
goodness! Wow. I'll show. Yeah, I'll give him some stories, or show him where our canneries. So maybe he can reminisce and.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
think this whole program we're having right now is gonna be a lot of reminiscing.
Yeah.
Basically, uh, I have a question for you. When you were
Sige.
in Tactic, was the fisherman over there already? The fisherman's tavern
The fishermen.
over in town?
Yes, they have a certain person. First, the fishermen, iba-iba sila. Iba-iba sila. There's the Italian fisherman.
Okay.
The Italian who speaks Italian mostly doesn't speak English. Then there's
Oh,
the Italian American fisherman,
yeah,
equivalent of our Filipino Americans. Magkasama sila in many fishing ventures, but linguistically, and culturally, they're a little apart,
sure.
even though they're both Italians. So.
Yeah.
But
The
diba?
question I was asking you is, there's a tavern called the Fisherman.
Oh,
I
the
don't know if you
fisherman.
remember that.
Yeah.
It's
What about
it's
it?
when you walk to town from the it's like
From,
a 30 minutes walk, and then
from
there's a
where to
big
where?
fisherman's tavern over in Naknek.
Ah, no, in Naknek. No, I'm in South Naknek. You're talking about the red
It's South
salmon.
Naknek.
Oh, in South Naknek, in South Naknek, there's a place called the Fisherman. The Fisherman. Yeah, I wasn't there yet. Yeah,
Oh, the
maybe
fisherman. Okay. Oh, you
that's
you
South
you were
Naknek.
there before me. All right, because I started going there 78.
66. I went.
Yeah, so
1966. Yeah,
that's
and I
like
left 1980. 80 was my last year.
1980.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. So I missed you by 1 year
yeah,
because I was there 81 and 82.
yeah. So
So
which is good because you're like a continuation. I can ask you what has happened since I left, so that way we can find at least a link.
yeah.
Huh?
So my other question is, how did you end up going to Alaska? I mean, from
Yes.
the Philippines. How did that come about?
Yeah. Before coming to San Francisco, I was in Vancouver, Canada. No, I lived there for 5 years. So that when I left the Philippines, I was 12 years old.
Okay.
When I got to America, I landed in Seattle. I was 12 years old. And then we went to Vancouver, Canada, where my father was one of the 6 or 7 officers who opened the first Filipino consulate in Canada.
In Canada.
We were the first Filipinos since that consulate stood in Canada. No, ngayon marami there's plenty now. I know there's plenty of Filipinos there now. So I was 12 years old.
Mhm.
I really didn't get into writing till I was mga 14. No,
Okay.
I was in Vancouver now. I was in Vancouver now. But of course, consciously, I didn't know any of this. I was just a kid growing up. I was a boy. I loved life, and I was a little bit angry that I left the Philippines and all those things.
So
But the
I
truth
would assume that you were from the middle class or even upper
no,
class in the Philippines.
I would well I would say I define our social classes by maybe people who own a house. We didn't own a house in Manila. We always rented a house. But of course, we were from the province. My parents are from the province. Later, they migrated to Manila for jobs.
Okay.
And when I was 5 years old,
Okay.
so Leyte, 5 years old, I left Leyte, went to Manila, and got familiarized with the city life and the language of the city, which is Tagalog and English in the classrooms.
Yes.
So 5 years old, whatever. So I had 3 languages, 3 cultures, but I was a child, so I absorbed all that without really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but having a house, and I mean, you grew up in a
Yeah, we did not have a house in Manila.
uh-huh.
We rented the house. My mother was a teacher, so
Okay.
and my father was somewhere in the foreign affairs, government also.
Mhm.
So pareho silang middle class but stable jobs.
Okay.
We weren't poor. We had some of our relatives were poor, and we had them as our helper. And
Yeah. So may mga katulong ka. May mga katulong ka that would
meron,
cook and
yes,
do your laundry.
yeah. Most of the time, from our hometown Leyte, nakilala ng nanay ko yung pamilya that
Okay.
took with us. So our katulong had it was not just the money you pay.
Yeah.
It had something to do with their lives and our lives too. Yeah.
Like family,
Yeah,
basically.
family. And there's
So
a story behind
the
it.
only reason I asked that is because you know, you did the Alaska thing, you know, and that was
Yes.
really a manual labor. And
Yes.
you know, the
Yeah.
you know, because I went through the same thing. You know,
There
my
you go.
family was, you know, meron kami makatulong sa bahay. And then
Oh,
I did the Alaska thing for how many seasons, you know, and
there you go.
you know, it was a struggle. I mean,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
I don't know if you
yes,
went through that, you know.
yes, yeah, of course. You cannot go
Yeah,
to Alaska without going to Alaska cannery worker.
yeah,
I worked 26 in 1/2 hour in one day. I
yeah.
know there's only 24 hours, I know, pero wrote it down, 26, tuloy-tuloy yung pagtrabaho ko, tuloy-tuloy. It never got
Mhm.
26 and a half. So I got paid for 26 and a half for one. That's how continuous the work is and no sleep. But anyways, besides being a writer, I wanted to also let the world know that type of life, the type of
Yeah,
life that we're doing. Now, what you're asking me is maybe another angle in which different people from different interests in life are attracted or wind up in Alaska working as a laborer, common laborer.
yeah.
So I saw it. Of course, I was young. I was 21. I saw it as an adventure, as a friend, but I was already sanay na ako magtrabaho. Kasi before Alaska, I worked in the farms here.
Okay,
Lahat ito summer. So pag school time, I was a good boy. I
okay,
hit the books just so my parents won't bug me. I was good in school. I did this, I did that. And of course, I was interested in many things also. But pag hindi na school time, summertime, I would always leave. Leave
okay.
San Francisco.
So
If I was
how
in Vancouver,
did
I would leave.
somebody bring you to Alaska, or how did it
Yes, yeah.
happen?
Yeah,
You know somebody?
the connection to Alaska and the connection to the farms here in San Francisco was the same connection through my father.
Okay,
And that rhythm, that habit of leaving away for the summer and was already ingrained in me even when I was a kid in the Philippines. Because in the
oh,
summer we would always leave to go home to Leyte.
okay.
So panay ganun ako, sanay na ako sa mga different culture, different. So when
Mhm.
I was in Vancouver, I just adapted it as soon as I could. I went to the woods in Vancouver during summer, and then all the time, and I worked picking fruits in the summer of British Columbia. I was young. I fought fires. I was fighting fires, so I
Mhm.
knew that, and I was also reading literature, good literature. So I was also developing values, and the values that my aunties, old people from the homeland, instilled in me, and that is, it doesn't matter how rich or poor you, yung mga mayayabang na class, the class system to me was something that was made up. Hindi totoo, because when you meet people from different classes, they're the same. This is what I find out, of course, through the years. But that's what I was after, one of the things that after. And when I write about it, like for people like you and other people who worked it, I want the world to see, number one, how it feels like to be one of those workers, and number two, the importance of such common workers.
Right.
Wala tayo, walang salmon sa buong mundo. We fucking
Exactly.
supply the world. We
Exactly.
supply the world with salmon. And
Yes.
we
Yes.
Filipinos are in the butchering machine.
Yes.
There's nothing happens. And I know all different kinds of countries come to my cannery. Scandinavian countries, Japanese countries. So I know they depended on us, even though I knew we were at the bottom of the economic ladder there.
Exactly. So what job were you doing over in
Yeah,
Alaska?
yeah. The first job was cooler supply, cooler. No?
Yeah.
After 2 or 3 years, I became a warehouse, somewhere in the warehouse. Then I
Yes.
became a Laiwas.
Yes.
So I stayed in the Laiwas and became a head warehouse at the 6th or 7th year.
Mhm.
I became the head warehouse, and I stayed there. Basically, I was always in the warehouse.
Mhm.
I had good overtime with Laiwas. As you know,
Mhm.
pag Laiwas, you have to wait till everything gets cooked,
Yes.
right? Everybody goes to sleep on the last load. Well, we're waiting for it to get cooked. Of course, we're getting paid overtime. Well, you guys are not.
Yes.
So that's what the thing was. And then we just put things away. And then the butchers always get their 2 hours or 1 hour cleaning overtime
Yes.
after they
Yes.
do it. So those are the two in our cannery hierarchy that got paid well through overtime: Laiwas and the butchers. Yeah.
Yeah. I was in a can shop, so you know, I was in
Yeah.
the dry. So making those scans before it goes to line.
Yes, I know. Yeah, it's hard to yeah, it's hard to cheat there, can't you? Yeah.
Yeah. And I was also the supplier of the,
Sure.
the line, and then
Ah,
we would put the ladies would put the lids on the
yes,
so to cover the
yes,
cans,
the
and I
cans.
would be
Yes.
the one giving it to the ladies. I would carry the boxes and leave it to
Ah,
them, and then later on they put me in the cleaning crew. So
uh-huh.
when the line stopped, usually it stops at midnight or sometimes one
Yes.
o'clock.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then 2 hours we would wash down the
Yes.
whole line. Make sure
Yes.
everything's clean for. So I would sleep around 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Wake up because before because I have to set up.
That's right. That's
So
right.
I will. It starts at 7. I would be there at 6. So I would average about 3 hours sleep.
That's right. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the biggest enemy of the work there. Although the work was hard,
yeah, yeah.
it's the sleep, that the lack
Yes.
of sleep. That to me, that was the tough to do. I had to figure out if there were. I think there were 5 of us in the Laiwas crew, 5 to 7. But
Mhm.
after a while, we could really do it with just 4. We could do
Yes.
it with 4. So,
Yes.
but if everybody has to, so 3 would take a break, 1 or 2 would take it turns taking a break, sleeping for 2 hours, then sleeping right there. Warehouse naman, it's not, it's
Mhm.
dry. One thing good about a warehouse, it's dry and it's warm.
Yes.
All the canned salmon are there and it's still warm. If you knew the spots, good place to hide too.
Yeah. You mentioned that you work with Larry Itlio because
No,
it's like
yeah, no, I did not. Not I knew Larry Leong, but not well. But I knew him through the academics when I was teaching at SF
oh,
State
okay.
already, and as a sideline on the Delano strike just before the Delano strike, because I worked in Delano just before the
Mm-hmm.
strike. But I did not know him uh, as well as Philip Veracruz and others. But
Mm-hmm.
but the thing with me and Larry Leong is that the cannery that he was the delegate of,
Mm-hmm.
I that's the same cannery, Alaska Packer, South
Oh,
Nac Lake.
okay.
I took over his last year was my first year.
Oh, wow.
So Larry Leong, 1965 was his last year because he had to help organize with the grape strike. If you notice,
Uh-huh.
September was 1965 was the grape strike. So what was vacated. So when I joined in 1966, there was somebody else who had taken Larry Leong's place.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2 years, our crew, the cannery, kicked him out
Wow.
and voted me in and put me in
Oh, okay.
and forced me to take his place. I really didn't want to do it, but they asked me, so I did it. Then I became the cannery union representative.
Union.
Nag-strike
Union.
kami there, nag-strike kami mga two or three times.
Oh,
We struck.
wow.
Yeah.
Huh. I
Talo
didn't
sila
know
because
that.
one time yung pagkain, yung kanin,
Mm-hmm.
pagdating sa amin, hindi tama yung luto. It's too wet. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it's too dry. Hindi nila
Yeah.
yung mga cook nila, because they pay a white cook to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to pay
They don't know how to do it correctly.
yeah. They don't want to pay our cooks pay, so they pay their cook. So
Mm-hmm.
nag-complain ako, I told them, my people is hardworking people, but you have to feed them right. You don't feed them right, they're not gonna fucking work, man. Shit,
Yes.
you have to give them lousy food, especially if they know how to do it right. Yeah. So I said, can I have two of our Filipino crew have cooks pay, and they will cook the rice, so
Mm-hmm.
that way we can always have it. No.
Was your cannery part of the local 37?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you're a part of the class action suit then.
Yeah.
Remember
That class.
they found that
Yes.
class action
Yeah.
suit?
Yeah, some people took my name down, but I was never really that active. They took my name down, and and some people say I got a little money for it, but I don't know. I didn't get any. But it's not. But the class action suit that I know of was the Ward Cobb's class
Mm-hmm.
action suit, and I know that they asked me for some names, but I don't know how I got involved because I never really got any follow up from them.
Okay.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
from my mga kaibigan ko lang na that they told me, did you get some money? So and so got a little money, and so, did you get yours? So I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I got some money. It
yeah,
wasn't that big. It was like
yeah,
about
it wasn't that big.
$1,500.
But,
But at that time, it was big enough.
oh yeah,
It's like
yeah.
one season already.
Correct.
Early 80s.
Correct. That's
know.
right. Yeah.
But I was happy with it, and I
Yeah.
didn't even do anything. I was just part of the class.
Yes,
And
yes,
then,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and then they did make some changes too. Over at Uganic Bay, they made us a new bunkhouse, the Filipino bunkhouse.
Good.
They
Good.
made us a new one, and then they gave us a better food. Because of that
Good.
class action suit. So.
Good. Yeah. Oh, all right.
And the people who initiated it, I don't know if you know him, Nemesio Domingo.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do an interview on him too, to get the backstory and how that started.
Oh, sige. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, so that will be part of the history there.
Yeah. Nemesio Domingo worked with me
Oh,
in the
he did?
same
Wow.
cannery. 2 years. Hindi lang siya. Tatay niya pa. Silang dalawa. Nemesio
Yeah.
Domingo Senior
Senior and junior.
and Junior. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Mga 2 or 3 years that we were together. I was there 15 years.
Yeah. He's the one who started that class action shoot, the junior one.
Yeah, the junior one, he had a group of people that had that class action. Yeah, kilala ko rin yun. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know him well. Yeah.
Wow. So, and then on your writer side, you've always been interested in writing, and then to be honest, I haven't read any of your books yet, but I went to Amazon and just ordered, your
Oh.
book right now because I want to read it about your experience and stuff like
Oh.
that, so
Yeah,
I
I was
just
in
heard about you recently.
Oh, it was there in that Seattle. You're from Seattle?
Yes, I'm from Seattle.
Yeah, you would have gotten it from there because I had some books with me when I was reading.
I didn't know about it. I saw it in Facebook. One of
Ah.
your friends is also my friend, and then it showed there.
Oh.
You were reading one of your book, and I said, "Who is this guy?" And then especially
Ah,
it says you were an Alaska cannery worker. He's
yes.
Alaska cannery, and he's a writer. So
Oh
that's
my
why I
God.
started googling you, and I found out,
Oh.
and then I went to that YouTube video about you doing a speech in Alaska.
When I was talking, I was in that was 2 years ago in Juneau, Alaska, when they invited me for a historical
Yes.
event. Yeah,
So I
kinukwento ko
listened to
naman.
that one.
Oh, how nice! I like
And
that
I was
one.
really
Good.
impressed. I said,
Oh my
man,
goodness.
somebody, because I'm an Alaskero too, and
Correct. Yeah,
people are writing about it.
they need to know our story.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I asked. You said, "Oh, I gotta interview him."
Nice.
Because I'm proud. It's part of our history.
Yes, of
Filipinos.
course. Yes. Yeah.
Lalo
And
na dito sa
yeah,
Seattle. Yeah. So
it's the white people should know about it. We Filipinos should know about it here in the U.S. and Filipinos in the Philippines should know about it also.
exactly.
See?
Exactly.
Yeah. Kaya
Exactly.
I'm going there nga to launch the book Manila edition in September.
Wow.
I'll put this there. Yeah, but so you ordered the book in
I ordered Amazon.
yeah. Oh, I don't know how
Just
to do it.
yesterday. So
Oh.
I'm excited. I haven't. It's gonna arrive in 2 days, and I'm gonna read it. I haven't read any of your books yet. So
Yeah, I hear that because I'm new at the Amazon. If you like the book, if you write something on the review part of the book, it will help spread the book around.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
so
do
if you like it, you write a good review or about the book.
My sister also is a writer, and
Oh my goodness, there you
she
go.
already wrote 3 books, and
Oh.
one of it I don't know if Darwin Price told you, because Darwin is married to my sister. And
Correct.
she wrote a book. It's called um, um, A Dictator, Doorbell, a Dad. Because my dad is a political prisoner during Marcos martial law.
Okay. Yeah.
And she wrote about that time. I
Oh my
wasn't there
goodness.
because I was in the States already.
Oh wow.
But it was an amazing, and it became a bestseller because the election and people want to know about martial law and all that.
Yes. Yes. Oh. Oh, good.
Especially
Yeah.
the last election that Bongbong Marcos was running. So they want to
Yeah.
learn. What's
Yeah. That was fixed. That was rigged. That was
yeah.
that election was finished before it started.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So let's see
Well,
now.
I'm excited to see all these things. I'm sure I'm going to connect with your people in Cebu. I'll meet your sister again in Dumaguete. Oh, fantastic. Galing. Yeah. Maybe you and I can see each other in Pilipinas. When will you go there?
When are you going back to the Philippines?
Like I say, September, I'll do for 1 month. I'll be there for September. to promote the launching of the book, Manila edition of the book
Okay.
that you just ordered. And then February, I'm there again. Every February, umuwi ako. I go there. February, March, January, February, March. Those 3 months. Because the weather is good, the holidays finished, not too many people, you know. Mura ang mga iba. So February is a good month to go to.
Yeah. Well, I'll be going back September for my daughter's wedding in Cebu.
I'll be
So, and
I'll
then
be there September also.
yeah, so if you can stop by Cebu, I don't mind meeting you, you know, and then
Well, I'm going to stop by Leyte where I was born because I always stop by there.
yeah.
You know, the old people will never forgive me if I don't stop by. You know, the old women, nako, masasama ang loob nila. You know, if you don't stop by, you know, if you don't, you came all the way from the U.S., then you don't even, you know, you just stay in Manila. What kind of, you know? So I always go home. Yeah,
You always
yeah,
go
and
home.
then I'll go check you out in Cebu.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And my question again,
okay.
ba't ka nagdating sa Dumaguete? What,
Okay.
you want to visit a friend or?
Yeah. Wait, hold this question for a while because I want to finish answering the other
Okay.
question. And how did I get involved in Alaska? So
Yes.
my father being in the consulate officer, so I was here in San Francisco, that was in Canada. So I was already going, when it's not school year, I was already going, working in the out there in Canada. So when I went to San Francisco, I was 17. 5 years
Okay.
later, I was 17. The first summer, my father hooked me up with a farm worker foreman in Vallejo so that I can work 1 month or somewhere in the summer, you know, so
Okay.
extra money. Like you say, we're middle class, we don't have much money, of course, but we can afford all the necessities of life. But my father wanted to go to private school, and so nagtitipid sila, and my mother never wanted to waste any money because she's from
Yes.
the war. She's from those people, they don't waste. So anyway, what was I saying now? Nasa na ako?
Your father was introduced you to
Oh,
somebody, the
yeah,
farm worker.
yes. Okay, so my father became pangalan number 3 man here in the Philippine consulate. Oh, teka, excuse me.
Okay.
Just a minute, let me just.
Oh, no problem. Take it.
Yeah. No, I won't take it. I'll put it in silent mode.
Oh, okay.
I'll just go. Okay. No, so what was I? My tatay ko nasa consulate here.
Oo.
No?
Oo.
So he asked one of his friends in the summer, I think a relative. First, see, that's the way we Filipinos are. I noticed that's how we work. Relatives and then friends, and then we always got to work through connections.
Yes.
So my father had a connection that made me work. I went to Vallejo and worked 1 summer there in a farm. This guy, my cousin who was a woman, her husband, he was. So I worked there, but I did it, like I said, I did it in Canada before. So the second year I was here, I went in Delano, and this is where my father met this foreman that is also a foreman in Alaska.
Okay.
My father gets a pouch. So consular officer may pouch sila every 6 months. Maraming dala, some this, and then if you specify it from our government, gagawin ng gobyerno natin for our government employees to bring them. Sometimes they bring a bed, sometimes this, sometimes. Basta meron silang privilege twice a year to bring a certain amount of things. And my father somehow was given 2 cases of whiskey every year from a friend of his. Hindi umiinom ang tatay ko, never drank in his life. So those 2 cases of whiskey, when my father's friends here would hear the pouches coming, they would visit my dad, as a pretext, so that they will be offered those bottles of Canadian Club whiskey. And my foreman in Alaska and Delano became the one na tumanggap ng mga gifts ng tatay ko na mga drinker because he likes to drink. So when it came down to working in Alaska, my father said, my son might be looking for a job there in the summer. Please accommodate him.
Okay.
So I went to Seattle with 2 of my friends, and I did not look for him. I thought I could get a job the regular way. Nahirapan ako. 3 weeks kami. Wala kami. We were starving out there, staying with cockroach in Seattle there in the International District. till finally I asked for the name Divina. Andun nga siya, you know, and it was in that book, so you can read it in the book. You know,
Yes, yes.
this incident is in the book. So that's how I got hired.
So did you go to the dispatch over the Union Hall?
Yes, yes. 19 every day for about 3 weeks. I was asking for kumeno, and I was, you know, waiting for dispatch like this.
Do you remember who was the president of the union that time?
Yes, I slept at his house, Navarro.
Navarro, G. Navarro.
G. Navarro, and his son. I was just with his son last week when I was there in Seattle.
Oh, really?
2 days ago. I haven't seen him in 50 years.
Oh, I didn't
Yung
know
anak
that.
niya, yeah.
So it's G. Navarro Jr.
G. Navarro Jr. He's in a wheelchair na rin, some kind of a walker. Walker, yeah.
Oh man, I want to interview that guy because
Oh, yeah.
G. Navarro
Yeah.
is like one of the, you know,
Yeah.
he's got like a history in the union.
Oh, I better know. Then, because I was talking to 2 or 3 more, and we were talking about that Navarro, the Union, Silmi Domingo, you know, the murder there.
Uh-huh.
You got to talk to 2 or 3 more there na nakatira sa Seattle. That's a good, in my opinion, will give you a good perspectives.
Yeah,
you know.
I know Chris Mensalves. I don't know if you know him, but
Yes, he was the one who approached
the
him.
book, the America is in the Heart book.
Yes.
He's the best friend of Carlos Bulusan.
Yes.
And his name in the book is Jose.
Yeah. What
Yeah,
exactly?
that's Chris Mensalves.
Yeah.
You know, and
yeah.
he was a
Exactly.
president of the union too, and
Yeah.
you know, he was living in Chinatown in Seattle. You
Yes.
know, and
Yes.
but
But
he passed away now. But you know,
Yes.
I know him when he was still alive,
Mm-hmm.
and
Now-
his kids.
Mm-hmm. Now, what you're saying to me is exactly what I wrote in the book. You know,
Oh,
when
really?
I first met Chris Mensalves. You see, that's how weird is Chris. Exactly the same thing. When I first met Chris Mensalves, he somehow knew I was a young writer. Meron mga writers dun eh. See, there's Trinidad Rojo was writing. They
Yes.
had the writers there, you know. And of course, I knew this later. That Chris Mensalves, 20 found out, you know Carlos Bolosan, the Americans in Sabi ko, yeah, I read it. Yeah, you know that guy Jose, that's me. Sabi ko, exactly what you're telling me now. That's what Chris was. Yeah. I didn't know him too well, of course, but that's the first time I met him. That's what he said. Andun sila, that's a Union Hall. They were in a
Yeah.
Union Hall. I described that scene in the book that you ordered.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can't wait to read that book.
Yeah,
You know, I'm really excited. I mean, I wish I knew about you earlier, but you know,
yeah.
but you know, you're still here, and I'm really glad I'm interviewing you because you know, you're gonna be a well-known writer too in the Filipino, you know, Filipino Americans. You know,
Yeah, yeah. Because I think I'm also people like us are good resources for the barrier
Mhm,
between Filipinos in the homeland and Filipinos in the U.S. You know,
mhm.
meron silang they can't they're foreigners to each other.
Yeah.
They are strangers to each other.
Mhm.
Not like you and me, both are brothers and sisters to me. See,
Yes.
they should see each other as brothers and sisters, but because of many things, nahihirapan silang, they don't understand each other, you know. So I think they need people like you and me in between.
No,
Yeah.
kasi tayong dalawa, we came here at a young age. You know, I
Yeah.
came here when I was 15 years old. You know,
Yeah.
so I still, even though English na yung salita natin, meron pa rin akong accent eh, just like you. You know,
Yes, of course.
you know,
Yeah.
so
Oh,
you know, we can talk the language, and you know, in English we can communicate
yes.
with both parties. You know,
Yes.
pero
Yes.
yung mga Filipino Americans who grew up here, and then the Filipinos, you know, na lumaki. I see it in the canneries, you know, because yung mga
Uh-huh.
marami na mga mistiso eh na
Oh,
kasama natin
correct.
sa Alaska na, you know,
Correct. Oh, yung mga
and there was a
babae.
disconnect between them.
Yes. You're right. What about the women? When did they ever start working in your cannery? Because I mean, a lot of women started coming after 76, ata, 78, something. Yeah.
Yeah, pero konti pa lang. When you were going to Alaska, marami pa mga manong yung mga, you know, the
Oh.
Filipinos,
Oh,
marami
the old
pa buhay
timers.
nun.
Oh,
Yung sa
exactly.
amin, they were slowly namamatay na eh.
Nawawala na. Yeah, you see,
Meron pa rin, pero pakonti na lang, you know.
That's how,
And then
yeah,
the younger ones were coming in, you know.
I had the same feeling when I was leaving. Yeah,
Yeah, so
I had the same feeling na there was an end of an era and a beginning of another. I just did not know what, you know. But
yeah.
when I was going to Alaska, that's how I felt. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. But they're still there. I mean,
Yeah.
Filipinos are still going up in Alaska until now.
Oh.
The union is not that strong anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many. It's not like before na everybody goes through there through the union. Ngayon, hindi na eh. There's
Iba na.
so it's kind of sad because the pay is kind of low now. It's even lower
Mm.
than it was back then. I mean,
Mm.
back then it was low, but compared to, considering
Right.
the wages are going up, but they're still going up there.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's good to know that you know that stuff. Yeah, you better kind of you should be interviewed too.
I
Those people.
actually went up to an Alaska Dutch Harbor because I did
Okay, yeah, and
trial
Alaska.
because I was
Yeah,
doing some interpreting. So I
yeah.
went back to my old the old cannery where I used to work.
Oh, how nice.
So na pinasyal ko, and
Wow, that's what I'd like
and
to
I told
do.
him I used to work here back in 1978. Sinabi kong ganun. So
Oh, yeah.
and then of course it's already 2000 something. So
Mm-hmm.
nagbago na talaga.
Talaga,
So
oh.
that harbor was so small. Wala pang there's two bridges now. So noon
Wow, I
wala pang
wonder.
bridges eh.
Oh, no, yeah,
So and it grew. The place grew.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
that was an experience, so going back there just to see the old canneries.
that's what I'd like to do soon,
Yeah,
to visit South Nactec and visit my own cannery. Siguro, pero sinira na lang ata yung mga banghouse ata. I don't know, yeah.
probably,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah, but I was there, red salmon. And then
Yeah.
nakita ko yung ano mo, you mentioned Romeo Vasquez worked at Red Salmon.
Oh,
My
oh.
cannery, Red Salmon.
Yes, yes. Oh, Bobby ang pangalan niya ron, Bobby.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, oh.
I didn't, alam ko, naririnig ko yung mga balita nila, Romeo Vasquez went to Alaska, but I didn't know he went to Red Salmon.
Red
But
Salmon across the na, oh, ano, Slimer ata siya. Very,
Slimer pa.
walang class yung ano niya, trabaho niya.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, can you imagine him? He was famous and popular.
Oo, di ba? Oo.
Yeah.
But
Well,
September, that's good. So hopefully I see you there sa Cebu. Gonna know.
yeah. I'll
And
give
then,
you my information and then
and try to talk to these two people from Seattle who went to Alaska too. Pero mga one time or two times lang ata sila, hindi gaya natin na maraming beses. Pero they live in Seattle at kilala nila sila Silme at yung si Jean.
anong
Kilala ko
pangalan?
rin yung dalawa. Tony Ogilvy, ano ito mga parang Chamber of Commerce people.
Yes.
Tony Ogilvy at saka yung isa Larry Flores.
Larry Flores.
Meron diyang wellness Flores Center sa community college ninyo. Sa kapatid niya yun, namatay yung kapatid niya.
Oh, okay.
Mga Filipino-American, born and raised there in Seattle, pero mga Filipino-American sila.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
they
write
know
that
about
name
those
down
two.
and I'm gonna
Yeah, so they can give you so you can get both sides of the story. It's not a clear-cut, simple things. The Marcos money and the political things is apart from the psychological, cultural things that was involved in that tragedy.
Okay. Oscar, we only got 1 minute to go.
Sige.
Kasi itong mapuputol after 40 minutes. So,
Okay.
kung mapuputol tayo, don't worry about it. We'll just keep talking, but I just want to warn you, mapuputol tayo.
Okay.
So I just want to let you know. So, Larry Flores and Tony Ogilvy.
Yes,
Okay.
Seattle. Yeah.
Okay, and
Yeah.
they're still alive, right? You saw them when you were in Seattle?
Yes. Yeah. I know. Text me and I'll text you back more info of them. Yeah.
Okay.
Their phone number and everything. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna interview them too.
Yeah. Oh,
Especially
and there.
they're Alaskeros, right? They went
Yes.
to Alaska.
Yes, at least 2 times. Yeah.